watching GVTV News.
Thanks, Gloria, and I'm Randy Hansen. In today's World News headlines, Iraq makes gains in offensive to retake Tikrit. And Colombia halts air raids for 1 month as FARC peace talks progress. And Ferguson city manager faulted in DOJ report resigns. And Clinton says private email account was for convenience, not secrecy. And GOP senator behind Iran letter tied to pro-Israeli groups. Obama administration withdraws bullet ban under gun lobby pressure. And senators unveil comprehensive federal medical marijuana protections. And Wikipedia and HRW join other groups to challenge NSA surveillance. And North Carolina fines Duke Energy $25.1 million for environmental damage, and Utah lawmakers back firing squads if lethal injections ruled out. And Japan marks 70th anniversary of U.S. bombing of Tokyo, 4 years since Fukushima. GVTV News is broadcast on Grass Valley Television, division of Rural Counties Television Network, whose focus is on community involvement. We also air on NCTV. But before these stories, GVTV News would like to thank one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's first world news story, the Iraqi military and Iranian-backed Shiite militias have seized large parts of Tikrit as part of their offensive to retake the city from the self-proclaimed Islamic State Muslim terrorists. Operation marks Iraq's largest military attempt to roll back the gains made by ISIS horde last June. Iranian advisors and Iranian-backed Shiite fighters are playing a key role while the United States has been sidelined. Colombia is halting air attacks and FARC rebels for 1 month as peace talks between the two sides advance. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos said the pause reflects the rebels' adherence to the unilateral ceasefire declared in December and could be extended if the ceasefire continues to hold. And said, to boost the de-escalation of conflict, I have decided to order the Ministry of Defense and commanders of the armed forces to stop bombings over FARC camps for a month. After that time, we will review the implementation of a unilateral ceasefire, and according to the results, we will decide whether to continue. Cuban-brokered negotiations in Havana have made progress on several key issues, including land reform, political integration of ex-rebels, and drug trade, and clearing landmines from rural areas. City manager Ferguson, Missouri, has resigned in the continued fallout from the federal probe into the systematic racial bias, supposedly from Ferguson. In the reports last week, the Justice Department blamed John Shaw of overseeing a municipal system that targeted African Americans for arrests and then profited off the fines. Ferguson Mayor James Knowles announced Shaw's departure and said, I think the city and John came to a mutual agreement that we want to be able to move forward as a community. John and the city felt this was an opportunity to do that and start fresh. As city manager, Shaw was the most powerful local official in Ferguson. His departure comes 1 day after the local municipal court judge, Ronald Brockmeyer, was also forced to resign his post. A court clerk and 2 police supervisors were forced out last week for sending racist emails. Former Secretary of State and presumed Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has spoken out for the first time in a controversy surrounding her personal email account. Clinton used a private account rather than a government one during her State Department tenure, and her aides failed to preserve her emails on government servers in a possible violation of federal law. On Monday, Clinton said using a personal account was a matter of convenience and that staffers have handed over her government-related emails for public use, and she only deleted 30,000 emails. Hillary said, "When I got to work as Secretary of State, I opted for convenience to use my personal email account, which was allowed by the State Department, because I thought it would be easier to carry just one device for my work for personal emails instead of two. Looking back, it would have been better if I'd simply used a second email account and carried a second phone, but at the time this didn't seem to be the issue." Of course, I think that you can put as many email accounts as you want on just one device, so you don't really need more than one. In fact, a few weeks ago, at the Businesswomen's Summit, Hillary Clinton said that she does use two phones, a BlackBerry and an iPhone. The law changed in 2009 around the government's email. Colin Powell didn't use it, Hillary didn't, and the term went on beyond 2009. The first person to use the State Department government email as Secretary of State totally was John Kerry. This, with all the issues swirling around the Hillary run for the White House and the meager progressive liberal attempt to lead this country, looks like a real leader will emerge from the conservative side in 2016. Hillary Clinton also weighed in on the controversy surrounding a Republican letter to Iran aiming to undermine the ongoing nuclear talks. An open letter from 47 Republican senators warned that Iranian government the deal could be nixed by a Republican Congress or future Republican president. Hillary Clinton said the recent letter from the Republican senators was out of step with the best traditions of American leadership, and one has to ask, what was the purpose of the letter? There appeared to be two logical answers. Either the senators were trying to be helpful to the Iranians or harmful to the commander-in-chief, and amidst a high-stakes international diplomacy, either answer does discredit the letter's signatories. According to the website Loblog, the senator has spearheaded the letter. Freshman Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton, a war hero, received nearly $1 million in donations to his election campaign efforts last year from the Emergency Committee for Israel, run by neoconservative pundit Bill Kristol. Intercept reports Cotton was set to appear at a secretive meeting of weapons contractors one day after sending the letter on Monday. No one from the progressive liberal left has mentioned the 40 Democrats who shunned the Jewish state Israel when Netanyahu addressed our nation, and their support of Iran as our friend in the Middle East. The Obama administration has pulled a measure to limit ammunition in assault rifles and handguns under the pressure from the gun lobby. After failing to ban the AR-15 in the past, this new attempt to take away the citizens' guns by progressive liberal left has been thwarted. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives has called for a banning of the M855 green tip ammunition in AR-15s because it could be used to pierce through police body armor, but the proposal was withdrawn after the campaign by the National Rifle Association and several Republican members of Congress and other people who like to keep their guns. Bipartisan group of senators has introduced what's being described as the first comprehensive medical marijuana legislation in the nation's history. The Careers Act from Republican Senator Rand Paul and Democratic Senator Cory Booker and Kirsten Gillibrand would end the federal prohibition on medical marijuana and let states set their own rules. Booker and Gillibrand helped unveil the measure and said, "Today we join to say enough is enough. Our federal government has long overstepped the boundaries of common sense, fiscal prudence, and compassion with its marijuana laws. These laws must change." This new bill, the Careers Act, which would recognize that marijuana has accepted medical uses and would recognize the will of voters in 23 states to have decided that denying families access is wrong. Bipartisan bill would finally allow patients and families, including veterans, in those 23 states to access medical care without fear of prosecution. A coalition of online media and legal and political advocacy groups have filed a suit over the U.S. government's mass surveillance organizations, including Wikipedia, Human Rights Watch, and challenging the National Security Agency's Upstream program, which taps into fiber optic cables moving internet traffic around the world. Attorney Patrick Toomey of the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, said the spying violated constitutional protections. Said the NSA's indiscriminate copying and searching through Americans' international communications impose a chilling effect on basic freedoms. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the freedom of inquiry. It also is an invasion of Americans' right of privacy in those communications. We have long operated in this country on the basic rule that the government does not search your home, your papers, and today your emails when you've done nothing wrong. And the flip side of the rule is that the government must go to a court with individualized suspicions when it wants access to those materials. Supreme Court previously rejected an American Civil Liberties Union challenge to the warrantless buy-in on the grounds that the plaintiffs could not prove they were targeted. North Carolina has fined the utility giant Duke Energy $25.1 million, the largest environmental fine in state history. The penalty concerns groundwater contamination from a coal ash plant near Wilmington. It is separate from a pending fine at the federal level for Duke's spill of more than 35 million gallons of coal ash into the Dan River, one of the worst such spills in U.S. history. And lawmakers in Utah have approved a measure that would reintroduce the firing squad if lethal injections are unavailable for state executions. Utah Governor Gary Hubert says he has not yet decided whether he will sign the bill into law. And a ceremony was held in Tokyo on Tuesday to mark the 70th anniversary of the U.S. bombing of the city. The so-called Operation Meeting House air raid of the March 1945 is known as the deadliest in history, killing more than 100,000 people and leaving much of Tokyo in flames. Today, Japan is marking the 4th anniversary of the earthquake and the tsunami that killed some 18,000 people and set off a nuclear meltdown at the Fukushima plant. And that's it for the World News today. Now, another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us. GVTV News. That's right, it's time for the police blotter, and pictures in the blotter not from these actual events, but used for visual aid only. These public records are obtained from daily logs issued from Nevada County law enforcement. Grass Valley Police Department on Monday, 8:04 a.m., a caller from East Empire and South Auburn Streets reported a man stopping vehicles, jumping in and out of traffic. He was advised to stay out of traffic. 10 a.m., a caller from 800 block of West Main Street reported a man sleeping in the playground area. 11:13 a.m., a woman reported finding suspicious items in the trunk of a vehicle recently purchased. At 2:19 p.m., a woman from Primrose Lane reported theft of change from an unlocked vehicle. At 2:28 p.m., a caller from 100 block of Hughes Road reported an ongoing problem with juveniles and young adults hanging out behind a business smoking marijuana. 5:04 p.m., a caller from 100 block of Jorski Drive reported a fight in the parking lot. 7:01 p.m., a caller from 200 block of Dorsey Drive reported a woman pounding on a door. At 8:45 p.m., a caller reported a dog had been attacked at Connon Park by another dog. 11:04 p.m., a caller from 200 block of Depot Street reported a person banging on a door who could not be located. And Tuesday, 12:04 a.m., A caller from 100 block of Catherine Lane reported a man banging on a door demanding medication. 1:49 a.m., a caller from Squirrel Creek Road and Adam Avenue reported a drunken driver crashed his vehicle, was stuck on rocks trying to back out, then stumbled in around drunk. He was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. In Nevada County Sheriff's Office on Monday, 8:07 a.m., a man from 13,000 block of Wood Lake Road reported a person sprayed his property with plant killer on purpose. 8:31 a.m., a caller from 10,000 block of James Lane reported his house and car were egged last night. 11:13 a.m., a caller from Earl Jameson School reported a possible rabid skunk and were releasing school early. 12:03 p.m., a caller from 15,000 block of Lakeview Drive reported fraud and identity theft. And 2:04 p.m., a caller from 12,000 block of Low Hills Road reported identity theft. And 3:17 p.m., a caller from Pleasant Valley Road and Commercial Avenue reported a driver of a truck shot a pellet or a BB at a passing deer. 5:13 p.m., a caller from 11,000 block of View Drive reported 3 pistols missing. And 5:29 p.m., a caller from 12,000 block of St. Mary's Drive reported attempted residential burglary. 7:07 p.m., a caller from Dog Bar Road and Georgia Way reported a funky chemicals odor, possibly due to drug activity. At 8:06 p.m., a woman from Incline Shaft Road reported a man pushed her down the stairs and tried to take her phone away. He was arrested on suspicion of spousal abuse, resisting arrest, damaging a phone, and possessing a large capacity magazine. Nevada City Police Department on Monday, 12:59 p.m., a caller reported a fight involving 15 people at Callanan Park. At 2:12 p.m., a caller from Nile Street reported people using telepathy and technology to control people. 3:20 p.m., a caller from 300 block of Broad Street reported a theft. And that's it for the Blotter today. Now another thanks to one of our underwriters who supports your only visual video news media in Nevada County. That's right, it's us, GVTV News. In today's local news headlines, local attorney injured in motorcycle accident. And man arrested in downtown Grass Valley in connection with drug deal sting. And sleepy suspect arrested at Nevada City Motel. A Nevada City attorney was injured in a solo motorcycle accident, reportedly fracturing his leg Sunday afternoon. Stephen Munkelt, 64 years old, was riding a Suzuki motorcycle eastbound on Ridge Road approaching Nevada City Highway at about 20 to 25 miles per hour just before 4 p.m., said California Highway Patrol Officer Greg Tassoni. The motorcycle's engine stopped running and Munkelt downshifted to a lower gear and attempted to restart the motorcycle, but when he let off the clutch, the rear wheel of the motorcycle locked up. Munkelt lost control of the motorcycle and fell, with the motorcycle landing partially on top of him. Munkelt was unable to stand, so he crawled to the right shoulder of the Ridge Road, began waving at other motorists for assistance, Tassoni adding that several passerbyers stopped to help and call 911. Motorcycle and CAL FIRE personnel moved the motorcycle out of the roadway into the fire station parking lot near the collision. CHP handling the collision investigation. Alcohol and drugs do not appear to be a factor in the collision. Munkelt was transported by ambulance to Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital with major leg injuries. With this warming, dry, and clear weather continuing, we see a significant increase in the amount of motorcycles on the area highways, especially over the weekends, Tassoni said. Please be aware of the increased traffic. And we hope Stephen Munkelt's gets better real quick. Great guy, great attorney. Man was arrested after reportedly showing up for a drug deal orchestrated by undercover narcotics officers on a BMX bike, then fleeing on foot. Drug sting developed after members of the Nevada County Sheriff's Narcotics Task Force arrested a probationer whose cell phone text led to a man identified as Tanner Jacob Stone, 22 years old, Sheriff Lieutenant Bill Smithers said. An undercover officer posed as a probationer and sent text to Stone, eventually setting up a drug deal at Safeway downtown Grass Valley. Narcotics officers in place at the Neal Street store around 4 p.m. Friday reportedly recognized Stone from prior contacts when he showed up on a bicycle, but when he spotted them, he fled on foot, dropping a pill bottle into a creek near Grass Valley Charter School on South Auburn Street as he tried to outrun the detectives, Smithers added. He was subsequently apprehended, and the bottle was located, which reportedly contained 70 Xanax pills, along with several that had partially dissolved. Stone was arrested on suspicion of possessing a controlled substance for sale, and attempting to destroy evidence. He was being held in county jail in lieu of a $39,000 bail. A Nevada City man was arrested after he reportedly broke back into the motel room which he had been staying and crawled back into bed. The man, identified as Kyle Howard Johnson, 29, had spent the night at the motel at 400 block of Railroad Avenue in a room rented by a friend, said Nevada City Police Sergeant Paul Rode. Johnson reportedly called to request late checkout but was supposed to be gone by 11:30 a.m. Saturday. When a member of the house cleaning staff arrived at the room a little before 1 p.m., Johnson was still there and was shooed out. Johnson then reportedly pried the window open, crawled back into the room, and hid in the bed. He was under the covers when we got there, Rhodes said. Johnson was arrested on suspicion of second-degree burglary and was being held in county jail in lieu of a $50,000 bail. That's a lot of money for sleeping in. Well, I could probably get to sleep over there at Wayne's World. That's it for today.
Crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon, I could go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
Grass Valley Television brings you local and world news, and we broadcast our 30-minute show 6 times a day on NCTV, Public Access, Comcast Cable, Channel 11 and 18. Also, we're on Sudden Link, Channel 16 and 18. We have 3 amazing series: Music, a 30-minute weekly show that airs 4 times a week, and Pride, Integrity, Guts, and Service, hosted by Sheriff Keith Royal and me on a bi-monthly series, plays 4 times a week. We're your community media, and if you have a business and would like to underwrite our shows, we offer almost 200 30-second spots a month on Comcast and Sudden Link. We also stream live on NevadaCountyTV.org and video on demand there, and our own websites, GVTV.org and GrassValleyTelevision.com. We also post to several Facebook pages and YouTube, Vimeo, Blip.tv, and many other sites on the web where we mirror our shows. We provide 30-second spots and a 60-second spot for you to embed on your webpage or whatever you want to do with it. For more information, you can call us at 362-8889 or email grassvalleytelevision@gmail.com. We will be happy to explain how your support of us will help us.